properly. I'm not wearing my hairpiece, but I think, you know, it was taking me a while to grow my hair out. I was over dyeing it, so I decided, no, it's time to like be a little bit more mature with how I go about treating my hair. So that's where I am right now. Okay, I know I'm nibbling on stuff here. So I was going to talk a little bit about, let's just, I have a lozenge in my mouth. That's not going to work. Hold on. I'll organize that later. Okay, so I was going to briefly talk about, not even briefly, just talk through my experience, once again, living in Japan. And yeah, I mean, not just living, I actually worked there as well. I was very fortunate to have parents who had jobs in the embassy. I think my mom at one point was working in the embassy too. Let me just put this here so it's not distracting the, okay. I'm going to go open up my website. If you don't know, here's the website that I put together. It's a little bit more organized, I think, than my YouTube channel, probably because the YouTube is a work in progress. I think the website was just the time that I was able to kind of, here's my huge, long, extensive website. I know you probably can't see it from here. But I wanted to show you in Orchard Opera Africa, lifeguard. I worked for Jürgen Lell, fashion designer, in May 1999 to August 1999. I guess that's what it was. I thought it was 1998, but I was working in the American Embassy in 1998. So I guess that was how it was. So I was in a couture house. Like Jürgen Lell basically constructed textiles out of knit and handmade materials that you probably have produced by hand in India. So he would have his fabrics dyed, sent over to India, brought back to Japan for construction of these garments that they had. So each room had, like, some designers were working on the jewelry section, other designers or other people were working on the patterns, and myself, I was in Jürgen Lell's room organizing fabrics and textiles. So I was dealing with the textiles and understanding how textiles worked and functioned. And I do think that that's an important factor going into not just textiles, but I think understanding that, I think I was in Japan when this exhibition was around. This is very old. You probably can't see this, it's reversed. I'm going to have to show it to you later. But this is a catalog that I saved from Japan in 1995. So most likely a collector's piece at this stage. But this was a show that Issey Miyake did in Japan just after he constructed his Pleats Please. The piece that I'm wearing is based off of his piece, but I actually made this piece. So this is one of the pieces I made because I worked as a designer assistant and all that stuff in the past. Okay, so this is just an explanation of my experience studying, working there, dealing with designers. I didn't meet Issey Miyake, but I did go to his show and I worked for his friend in Tokyo, which was Jürgen Lell. So I was just showing this. You probably can't see this, but I'll reverse this later. Jürgen Lell, Tokyo, Japan, May 1999. So that's when I was working there. I was working in Japan too. And from this, and I'm also working in like fashion right now, sort of like Poshmark, I guess, is fashion-ish. And I found on Poshmark, they have a whole collection of Issey Miyake, but there was one that was very unusual, and I thought maybe this is like something I should look into. I actually have my mom's old Issey Miyake from 1994, No, 1984. She has one. I'll show it to you later. But this one I received in Tokyo. Okay. I received it here, but it was sent to me from Tokyo. And this is unusual because this is not normal for Issey Miyake to create a piece that looks like this. This was, from what I'm hearing, it was an experimental piece. This I managed to get a hold of through somebody who happened to live in Japan at the time. Here's the code. We discovered that, I'll just show you the tag. You probably can't see it, but this is IM43FC504. And that gives you the description on when it was created. We're suspecting it was like 1994, 95. Issey Miyake's Please Please came out in 1994, so this was just after. And we think that it had something to do with the connection between these. And he was also connected to the musician, what's his name? Ryuichi Sakamoto, because you can clearly see when Issey Miyake deals with his fashion shows, he deals with, this was another thing that he had. These are old catalogs. This is something I brought back from Japan. I kept it. So you have the textiles, and the exhibition was like this huge exhibition in Japan, in Tokyo. And they had like different rooms for different things, and he had sculptural pieces that were just amazing. I don't even know if Issey Miyake had a show here. He probably did. But he did the traditional way of like a believer. Believer in, do you like Issey Miyake? I'm a great believer. I mean, I'll even talk about my own stuff, but Issey Miyake was the first. I was inspired as a creative through his work because I basically was fascinated of how he created. He was the first to create and invent something called pleats please. I'm wearing one of my own pieces. This is something I made, but I based it off of a piece, designs that he would have done, right? And he was very much known for, I'm going to just show you this. He was very much known for pieces that reconstructed and reformatted so you could wear it in a few different ways. And Issey Miyake was good at, hold on a second. He was good at, so you can see there are two different ways I can wear this. But he was a master at creating pieces that were unusual and different. This is the second way you can wear this piece. There are a few different ways you can wear this piece, but he was known to do this kind of stuff. One moment you could wear it in one way, and the next moment it could be reconstructed into like the sculptural piece. I'm going to put it back onto the way I had it just now. Okay. So designers create things in different ways to explore different formats. And Issey Miyake was known to develop, one second. It's almost like a kimono, right? I lived in Japan, so kimonos were like a thing for me. I have a kimono that I was going to show you now. But yeah, that's this. This can be reconstructed and reformatted in different ways. And that's one thing about Issey Miyake that was slightly different from a lot of the other designers. And this piece was different because I didn't recognize this as his style. And this is apparently a museum piece I managed to find. So this is even rarer than just wearing a pleats please, right? This is something that should be in a gallery space at maybe a fashion museum. And I happen to have it, which is quite awesome. Okay. And Japan is known for its history in fabrics. I'm doing a textile day because I did a music day the last time. And I speak a lot about textiles because textiles was, this is a kimono, right? Textiles was the way people communicated in the past. There weren't always books, but textiles, everybody had to wear clothing, right? So clothing told the story through through visionaries, through recreating like pieces on silk in this case. Japan was known for its silks. A difference is Miyake never used silks, he used man-made fibers. He created and invented the pleats, the pleated stuff. This is nothing that was, it wasn't, he was, I think from what I know, he studied architecture in France, and then he shifted over to fashion. So it was like this whole transition, right? And he was doing something that was just out of the ordinary, because in most cases, a lot of the times, Japanese clothing was more, I have to be delicate, more of a hand fiber, handmade, natural fiber made, like silks and cottons in most cases, just like their paintings. I'm pulling this out to show you. This is also another collectible piece that I gathered. We, in my family, because I studied my master's in art, I'm very big into collecting rare pieces. So what you're seeing here is, I don't know if I can pull this up. Hold on, let me just see if I can just do this without, hold on. I need to be really careful. I managed to store this for a while in a very meticulous, a very meticulous way. I have to just remember to put it back the same way. Oh, actually, yeah, no. I'll do this later. When you're saving and storing pieces, you need to make sure that the ventilation and the air and how it's stored in a space is done correctly, or else you can damage paintings. Paintings can also be damaged and destroyed if not done properly. One thing that I learned in the art field is that that was indeed the big thing. This is why you have museums and gallery spaces, because the museums and gallery spaces help control the temperature and the heat and the humidity so that pieces can last a lot longer, right? That's the whole, that's why museums exist today, is that they contain the knowledge of sustaining and maintaining a piece. Okay, let me just fold this up this way. Let's see if I can do this with caution. Gosh, this is like the inevitable, let's not destroy the painting because we don't know how old it is. Pretty sure it's old. Okay, can you see that? Okay, I'm gonna just roll it up a little bit so you can see. Yeah, okay, you can see that. So this is a silk painting. So fabric, once again, textiles is important. So this is a silk fabric, and then they paint with ink. And then there's like a signature. I still haven't had it assessed, so we don't know for sure how old it is, how long it's lasted, all that stuff. We think, I mean, silk is not too common. It's usually, they also have wood blocks in Japan. But this is a silk piece. Okay. So we're dealing with the question of silk, and going back into the question of the instruments. When I had seen the show, I don't remember seeing the actual instruments out, but this shows you the instruments. These are traditional instruments that Miyake incorporated for this particular show, and just to show it's like a court instruments. The woodwinds are they're made out of wood and bamboo, right? So it would probably have been during this time that these constructions of these pieces, instruments, would have been made. The koto, very recognized Japanese instrument, the koto. Yes, this is an art history class, not a music class today. So I'm focusing on the art and the textile arts and textile elements. Oh, I need to be very careful. Okay, I'll put this away in a few moments. But, you know, so far we did a very good job in keeping this together. This is something that I organized from Japan. A lot of the things, my parents have a huge collection of paintings, huge, massive. They have been collecting for decades. And in my case, I moved without them, so I didn't bring anything back that they owned. I'm now creating my own collection of things, which is probably a valuable angle because I wasn't the type of person, oh, can I have this, that, and the other before I leave? I didn't ask my parents for anything. No money, nada. I am bringing back everything for myself, and I bought everything from the paintings that I've constructed, the materials that oh, and another thing, when I lived in South Africa, let me show you my resume here. I had plenty of jobs in South Africa as well, plenty. Let me go back to this resume. Okay, so I did my master's in South Africa, actually. So in South Africa, I created, let me just go into the art space. Yeah, the art space. So this is the September 2009. This was the art space, but the master's was before that. So we're going to go into the art space. I had articles written up on the show, right? There's me. I was a little bit thinner back then. But this piece, I'll show you the piece now. This exhibition actually landed up in an article, which is what this is, at the Smithsonian. Okay, so this is the Smithsonian article. This is the exhibition from South Africa. The reference and details of this description and explanation are on my website and my resume. So I'm not making this stuff up, guys. Like, if you're looking for like proof, all you need to do is look at my resume, look at my websites, and you can see, you can take locations, areas, places, countries where I've lived, and you can spot. And I have an article at the Smithsonian. Here, I'll even show you. I don't even know if I should show the person's name that gave me the information. But there's this, it's backwards. I'll have to show it to you later. Okay. African art collection. So I'm in the African art collection in the Smithsonian, meaning I am South African. Okay, I am South African. Mixed South African at that. My mom must have lived in the neighborhood back in the day of where Tyla used to live, her family. Okay, hers, I don't know exactly where, but ours is in Bosmont. And this is the exact piece. I might actually hold on a second. Something I haven't done. Give me a second. I need to get my mannequins. It might be easier to see these on the mannequins. Oh, I just need to be very careful with all my paper. Very careful. In our little tiny space here, I am doing like art. Go figure. Okay, so if you want references, all we need to do, you know, people are just not non-believers because they don't understand. So if you want facts, you just need to look for them here or there. Okay. Technically, we're not supposed to show that. Hold on a second. Let me cover this with a... So we need to put a shirt over this because I know that logos are probably going to be a problem. So I'm going to just put the shirt over this first. And I will display the piece that is actually in the article at the Smithsonian of my work in the South African or African art department. So I am an African artist, okay? That's like, the end point is I am actually South African. Okay, I'm half American, half South African. This is Black History Month, right? So this is the right time to talk about South Africa as well. But I learned my textile skills from living in Japan. My textile skills came from working for this designer in Tokyo, who was Issey Miyake's friend. This one is polyester. I should actually, this is my one. And the reason why I'm talking about The arts is because, as I spoke about on my channel, it's not just music. It's also driving into or moving into, I'll put my thing on just now, hold on. Give me a second to put this together. Oh gosh. So two different things. The one piece I was inspired by Miyake, the one that I'm wearing. And then you have this piece. Hold on, how do you? Oh, excuse me. Come on. Oh, lots of lights. I don't know if you can see that. It's a bit glum. Okay, so this is one of the pieces. This piece landed. This is the one piece I kept, basically. Let me just lower the light ever so slightly. Maybe you can see it better now. Okay. So I never really added anything on here on the chest. I was much thinner back then. So I wore it and did my own modeling at one point for my own photographs, right? And this is from the article at the Smithsonian. So this is indeed from the Smithsonian. Okay, this is in their archives, right? So it was like an exhibition with 3 other people. It was a solo exhibition. And this is the one that I kept. Even though everybody wanted to buy it, I was like, I'm not going to sell this piece because I always need the sample, right? So I kept it. I kept the sample, and that's what we have right now, okay? And then let me just put the Miyake one on so you can see what that looks like on a mannequin. And I think from what I've seen in some of Miyake's pieces is that he actually uses the same technique. This is knitted. The one that I have here is knitted. Hold on. Okay, let's just put this, oh goodness. I don't want to destroy anything here. 2 seconds. Put that away just now. This is a very tiny space. I have to say, this is not like a gallery space where I have lots of space to kind of display and show. Oh, there it is. Cancel. Okay. Somebody's calling me from, I don't know, I'm supposed to do something tomorrow. Okay, so here's the piece. This is that collectible Miyake piece. Okay. So as reference, the one that I have on, which is what I made, which is basically what he does, is what he's more recognized for. This is not a piece that he generally is recognized, maybe on very rare occasions. So we suspect that he actually had something to do with the sewing and the construction of this. As we know, Miyake passed away, and he passed away during the same time as Ryuichi Sakamoto, which is the producer I really like. He did movies like The Last Emperor, also, what else? The Last Emperor, Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, and then Adventures of Totoro, and then other things. So he was like a very, very important film composer and just a composer overall during the 80s, 70s, and 90s to 2000s from Japan. Okay. Let me just put this here. Put on Dior. Okay. Now I'm going to go into Ryuichi Sakamoto. And throughout this time, okay, put this on. So this is what Miyake is more commonly known for, this pleated stuff. This is what he is more familiar, most people are familiarized with this. not that jacket. That jacket is a very unusual piece because it looks almost commercial. Oh, and these patterns on here, they sort of look like sound waves. I don't know for sure where this design came from, but I suspect that during the time of this catalog, right, this was also the time that jacket was made. So there is definitely a connection here. Okay. And then another time my piece was displayed and won an award for a dance company was in South Africa as well. Let me show you where that was. So I'm going to go back to my resume. You can always look at my resume if you're looking up information about me. I have made it so easy for people to like resource and find the facts. Like find the facts. If you have any questions, ask. David April, he recently just passed away, but he was a phenomenal choreographer. Okay. And his company, see this? So I have Khoisan background, my Khoisan descent. His company used, oh, okay, I have a sale on Poshmark. And I sell on Poshmark. So I make money doing fashion, okay? Fashion is where I make the money. Music is where I also make money, but the fashion is the easiest way. Everybody talks about, oh, the music, the music, the music. I was like, the music is not going to make you the money, guys. That is a very hard direction. You make the music to be inspired to use for like the channel, and then you probably generate money. Okay, that's how I see music. I don't see music as the answer and the conclusion. I see, okay, so this jacket won an award for the dance company, okay, that used it for a Khoisan performance, which is my family background. So ironically, it just so happened that the company was yeah, they won a whole bunch of awards for this one. So I was very happy to see my piece was used for that purpose. And obviously an article of mine was at the Smithsonian. Actually, I'll show you. I'll go into return back to my original page. Where is it? Welcome to Pneumatics. Okay, so we're going to go back to I have two websites. Okay, the first website I used with WordPress. The second website I used the other thing. Okay. And you can see my name there. I'll have to reverse it. Okay, my name's there, and this is the Smithsonian. Okay. So if you want to really look at it, that's where it is. But my name is on there. My name is on a whole bunch of places. I've had articles written up on the projects I've done in the past. Maybe not so in the States, but more so in South Africa. Because that is where my reputation was, right? The other exhibitions, the other projects, a dance company. I did a whole bunch of things for a dance company. Okay, and then a music performance. So with my master's, I incorporated music, art, and fashion. So I'm just bringing all of those elements together with this whole thing. I have to check. I think I just got an order from Poshmark. Let me just see what I have here. What did they order? Oh, the unicorn. Okay. Okay, we could do that. Funny. Okay. My melody just sold. So that's great. Finally, she sold. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. So that's okay. So I need to start packing that up in a few moments, but I'll talk a little bit more. So my money generally comes, at the moment, is generally coming from places like Poshmark. I have things like Whatnot. I usually get my orders from Whatnot. Back in the day, we had CDs. So I used to make my own little CDs with covers. This is the exhibition from when the articles, a whole bunch of articles were written up. I did music for Big Brother Africa. I think I even put that on my resume. Let me just double check. I'm pretty sure I did. Let me go into that again. Okay, let's go back to, where is it? Okay, oh, lots of things going on. Resume. So if you go through my website, you can find my facts and my information, because I've put it out on the table. Like, not as if I don't want it, I don't want anybody like using it, but I do feel as if it's important to identify. Let's see, Japan was like a whole different thing. Okay, so we are looking for, let me just see, back to rock, Opera Africa. Did I even write down Big Brother Africa? I probably did somewhere. Hold on, Dior, I hear you. Oh. Nomadics. True Love magazine. Let's see if that goes into the True Love magazine. So I had another article. Wait, that was a different one. Hold on. True Love magazine. Smithsonian exhibition. Where was it? Sorry, I'm trying to anticipate where all my things are. It's like a whole bunch of stuff. There was another magazine with one of my pieces as well. I'm just trying to find the image quickly because I suppose everybody wants to know what's going on, right? So I was recognized as, no, that's the other one that I did. Let me just find the True Love magazine in South Africa I just saw it. Where was it? Tokyo, jobs in Japan, embassy work. Hooked on Classic. True Love magazine, South Africa. Yeah, but that directs me to that, unless it goes down to the bottom. No, that goes back to the gallery space. I do have it somewhere. I don't know where the heck it is. I'll have to look for it. So I have, technically I could go to my other site. I think I did put it on here as well. Let me just double check. Did I put it on here? Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. More. Blog. Maybe I didn't. But I've taken photographs of like South Africans and musicians and all sorts of people who have done, I think she worked with me at Guitar Center at one point, right? And then a singer in New York who's from South Africa as well, and then a family friend from the past, right? So, but I have tons of stuff. So if you really want to take a dive into who I am, I think, researching the documentation might be the easiest approach. And I've put it out on the table. It's very easy to find. Okay. I must have it somewhere. Let's see the True Love magazine. Man, I saw it the other day. I just want to find it. Give me 2 seconds, and then I have to pack my order up, which is great. I need to get that started. Amazon, David, Jam Session, Blue Note, 2 advertisement, Margot Designs, 2 advertisements. What's this? Oh, yeah. The True Love magazine. So I don't know if they still have it up, okay? But this is one of my pieces that was in a magazine long time ago, okay? And then another piece, and I think this is like a celebrity. I don't know her name. Kenswani. I think she was the Voices singer, and then another singer had. So I dressed people like it was a very African garment. And I found that a lot of people were very interested in these pieces. So I made them. I didn't think of anything much of it besides producing them because I was inspired by these designers and I work for designers. And that's what I have today. I want to work on the music or play some music. Let's go back to Ryuichi Sakamoto. But I also have to deal with my order. Let me just put this on. I need to be very methodical because I'll just play you some music. I'm inspired by Ryuichi Sakamoto because, I don't know if you can hear me. I have a very small space. Just FYI. So that little corner is, hold on. Okay, so I'm going to just play this once. And then I can explain why I use ouch, my foot, there's something in my foot. just quickly, and then I have to pack up my order because money talks, right? And why I work from home is because I get orders regularly. That is the thing for me. So let's do this quickly, get this out of the way, and then I can do my order thing. There's more to be done on this, but yeah, I like to be okay, so the music you're hearing is also something I produced. I live in like 3 different angles of the arts. Okay. I'll be with you just now, Dior. Hold on. Okay, so my music was never meant for... It was meant for fashion shows. I've used my music for fashion shows in the past. So I don't see my music as mainstream. It's like underlying music that could be used for shows and stuff. It's just what I do, right? And yeah, that's basically it. So I need to deal with my order right now. Apparently I do have an order I need to pack and send off. Probably right away because, let me just see, what time does USB close? UPS. I think they close at 7. USPS, Rockford. Oh, they close at 5, never mind. Okay, so I'll pack it and send it over tomorrow. Okay, no rushing then, but I will start packing it. Okay, and what I do here is, if you're looking for music equipment, for instance, you can go onto one of my sites and I give you a description on what you need to get, right? You can go onto Amazon and find all the equipment. I've given a list. I have a whole list if anybody's interested in where you can find the equipment. I'm sure everybody does now. Okay, and then my old like drawing and stuff. Okay. So the music I'm not allowed to play, from what I'm hearing, is I'm really not allowed to play other people's music. So the music that I do right now is basically used for my own channel, because that is what I'm doing right now, is I'm building my channel up, right? It's not, I'm not doing this as a social, it's like, this is like work for me now, right? I work from home, and then I can also do my YouTube, which is great. But I also have more than just music. I think people always come over here and assume that I'm going to just record tracks. I studied my master's. I mean, you can't expect me not to talk about academic stuff because that's what I studied, right? So that's, I'm not a high school student. I'm not a college student. I'm a grad, okay? I've graduated from university, okay? And this is where I am right now. I even have articles at the Smithsonian for reference as to what I've done. Business development, okay? Once again, here's the article. Okay. If you want to read it, I'm sure, oh, I didn't make a copy of it. But you could definitely, if you're interested, I can read it for you eventually, right? This is the one that I have at the Smithsonian. So I create different types of arts, okay? I'm not here to thrill people's enthusiasm about music production. That's part of it. That's part of it. That's only a small bit of it, okay? I'm here to educate people. That's my goal. I've lived in 5 different countries, and my process is to help people understand different cultures, because that's what I do. I have a playlist that I finally put together which has cultural development. We have a section for fashion, we have another section for music, so you can go onto my playlists and you can see what types of things. If you're interested in the music, there's a section for the music. If you're interested in the fashion only, there's a section for the fashion. If you're interested in the arts, there's a section for the arts, and I go in depth into the discussions of those. But I do them all because I wasn't the type of person to, oh, let me just focus on one. It was just never my thing. I was always focused on multiple skills. Okay. And I think a lot of these artists that I've found, like Miyake, he was an artist that pushed boundaries as well, designer. He didn't like to be called a designer from what I've heard. He liked to be called like an artist, a sculptor, an artist, an avant-garde manifesto of creations. I don't know, but he didn't like the word designer. And I see him as he is. I think everybody tries to box people in. And as an artist myself, you can't box a person in. If you're creative, there's so many different avenues you can choose and try and explore. That boxing a person in just for a painting is not necessarily what works. Some people only see me as a designer. I'm like, no, I'm not just a designer. And then the musicians get mad because musicians are like, but you're like a designer, you're not supposed to do music. I was like, I do music as well. So I make the whole industry frustrated because I've had gallery spaces complain because I'm too out of the box for them. They want me to focus on the paintings. And I'm like, but I don't want to do that. I want to do all three of them. And I've had fashion shows say, well, you have the fashion, why do you have music? Because I do music as well. So the whole industry has an issue with people being out of the box. That I'm trying to prove my point that it's important to be multi-skilled, because why do one? Like, the world is developing and we should develop with the world and we shouldn't stick to one thing only. I'm sorry, but that's just not how I think. Okay, now I have to box my stuff up and I will speak to everybody later. And I'll reverse this. Okay, so this is a piece that I made based off of an Miyake, based off of one of his pieces. But you can wear this a few different ways, which is what I like. I don't design for the crowd. I love diesel, but I don't make diesel stuff.